So the idea was to create a high school gymnasium that was relatively new. There were a lot of schools built right after World War II, so as the public projects became big, so this was, in theory, one of those schools. The story for this one's mainly that it's the prom, 1958, for senior prom for graduating seniors, and there's 4 girls who basically perform for prom and sing and all that sort of thing, and they're supposedly replacing the crooning crab cakes who are like bad boys and got in trouble, and they're not doing it anymore. So anyway, the girls do it, and you know, there's one of the girls steals the other girl's boyfriend, and you know, all kinds of stuff like that, high school stuff. And but it's good fun, you know, it's a lot of energy, really fun place. And then the second act is 10 years later. This is the ground plan, and then this is all the elevation, so you know, seeing each wall up as it is. And after the kind of idea of the set was put together, the set designer, director, and costume designer all talked about what the colors of the school were, what the colors of the world were, and then from there the set colors were picked, and the costume colors. Wanted to do a cinder block look that looked like it had been painted over every year. You know, every year they put a fresh coat of paint on it, keep the school looking nice. And it has one of those little, you know, one of those little goofy stages that's like shoved in the corner of the gymnasium or something like that. So that's kind of the idea here. We've got the locker rooms on each side, boys and girls. The mascot for the school is Chip the Chipmunk. So we've got a couple of chips around the place, and we've got the mascot on the gymnasium center court. And the school colors were, I think, blue and white. The big things to get the set really looking like a gymnasium was the floor and the cinder blocks. I think those two textures really make it feel like, you know, a gym. It's a really thin material called Luan, which is a wood laminated product, but it has a really nice finish on one side. So we cut it into all these little strips. It comes in different colors, basically, depending on the trees that they use to make them. We just had piles and piles of little strips, and then as we put them in, you know, as you would put in like a parquet floor or even hardwood floor if you're putting it in, you'd put, you know, mix up the colors a little bit. So, you know, as we're putting it in, we're like maybe a red one here, and then, you know, a light one, a dark one. We've got some of those kind of slightly greenish tinged ones. So it's just a process as you're putting it in to kind of almost not create a pattern, and they're kind of like platforms that you would just install for a stage thing, you know, just like stock platforms a school might have, and maybe they let them paint them or something, so they put little stars on them. And then after, you know, we got everything kind of in place, we went back and decorated with streamers. Back is on a track, so it can split and go away, and then there's a white cyc back there, so when they go to the 60s and things are a little more psychedelic, they can have brighter colors, and that's for the second act. All the signs change, so almost all of them except for the 2 that sit right there are double painted.